Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ken Busby, your cultural czar, member of the board of the Tulsa Symphony, and we are here today with our musician moment. And today we're featuring our finance director at the Tulsa Symphony, Dayna Smith. Dayna, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this with us. Uh, I know you and I chatted a little bit, and in fact, when we were setting up interviews and so forth, I understand that one of your comments to one of your colleagues was, "Well, what could we have that would be interesting to talk about?" And I just do numbers, and I think there's so much more to what you do, uh, because these musician moments are about learning about the person behind the scenes. So, we see the musicians on stage, and so people are learning about them. That's great. But people often don't realize what it takes to make an orchestra run, make a business happen, and you are absolutely critical to that formula.
I would hope so. Yes, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and I'm constantly crunching numbers, paying musicians, and just hopefully kind of giving the board a snapshot of the finances for the organization.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to remember now. When did you join the Tulsa Symphony?
I've been here almost exactly 4 years
Yeah,
now.
yeah. But and in some ways, though, it seems like even longer, only because it's like, well, Dayna knows that. Dayna's got those numbers. Dayna, I mean, we just talk about you like you're. I mean, you're integral to everything we do. So your role is really
Yeah.
important. Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, so let's talk a little bit about where are you from originally?
I grew up in Lawton,
Hmm.
Oklahoma, Southwest Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Kind of moved there when I was about 10 years old. My family's still down there. My
Uh-huh.
brothers and all their families are all down there still.
Oh wow. So you're the one that moved away.
Yes, I'm the one that flew the coop.
Flew the coop. Okay. Well, but you picked a good city to come to with Tulsa. But Lawton, Lawton is a really great community as well. A lot of strong arts and music community, and of course Fort Sill being
Mhm.
there. Lawton has a lot going for it. I like that city.
It does. It has the Wichita Mountains there. There's some
Right.
pretty scenery out that way, and
Hmm.
it's kind of a gem that a lot of people don't know about.
Absolutely. No, I would agree. Do you get back pretty often?
I do every 2 or 3 months. We
Uh-huh.
go down there to visit the family, of course, and then of course they come up here as well to visit. So
Sure, sure. That's neat. That's neat. Um, so flying the coop to come into Tulsa, what made you want to come to the Tulsa Symphony with a finance background?
well, just wanted to marriage my love of music. I also have a bachelor's in music degree as well as business, and I've always been, music has been just an important part of my life. And I just, in my, of course, my career has always been accounting,
Right.
and so just being able to marriage those two interests of mine has been really, really wonderful.
That's cool. And if I remember right, you are a bassoon player, a
I
bassoonist.
am a bassoon player.
Yeah.
Yes. I play in some community groups. I play with Signature
Uh-huh.
sometimes, and the Bartlesville Symphony, as well as the TCC Orchestra.
Uh-huh. So
I
what
keep that.
how did you happen to go into music some? How did you pick the bassoon and how did your music career happen?
Well, my parents kind of wanted all of us kids, but I have two older brothers, and
Hmm.
they kind of requested all three of us really to kind of start out with a music instrument when we were like, fifth, sixth grade, because they
Uh-huh.
offered it in schools.
Right.
And so I actually started out on flute,
Okay.
and I played flute for 3 years in the school bands. And
Uh-huh.
then this was my ninth grade year. They were looking for people to play either bassoon or oboe. So I tried out both of those instruments and just instantly fell in love with the bassoon and its sound.
Uh-huh.
And come to find out that my mother also played bassoon in high school, which I did not know
Oh
until
wow.
after that time.
Oh wow. She
So,
she never told you until
so
then.
she,
Yeah.
so she encouraged me, and of course, and
Yeah.
kind of just took off from there.
How neat. Did you ever think about doing that as a professional career?
I did. When I started college, I was kind of always kind of torn because I had a really good bassoon instructor in college, and she was really encouraging me. And so I kind of switched over to a music major for a while.
Hmm.
And then I decided to actually do a dual degree between music and business. So, but
Smart.
yes, I really, my parents kind of encouraged me. He's like, well, you'd have something to fall back on just in case the music doesn't happen.
Sure.
You know,
Parents
so
parents
I
do
did
things
that,
like
which is
that.
quite good advice.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm glad I kept up with the music as well.
No, I'm glad you are too. You have too, and it's interesting because math and music really do go together. So you often hear about people that have dual majors or dual interests, especially in math and music. And so I think that makes perfect sense with your dual background like that and dual degrees and so forth. It's a nice marriage of strengths that the way the synapses fire in your brain.
Yeah, so I've heard. So yeah, because the analytical brain, I guess, on both sides.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that makes perfect sense. Well, when so okay, so you've been at the Tulsa Symphony now for 4 years. Uh, Obviously, accounting numbers, it's what you do. You're
Hmm.
really good at it. And obviously, music gives you some outlet. But when you do have some downtime, if you have some downtime, what do you like to do?
I have two little girls. They're actually 11 and 12,
Okay.
and they keep me very busy. And I also like to do some gardening
Hmm.
and reading as well.
Uh-huh. Do you do vegetable gardening or flower
I
gardening or both?
do.
Oh, cool. What are you
I do
growing
a little
right
bit of
now?
vegetable gardening, some herb gardening,
Oh, wow.
a little bit of everything.
What all do you have going right now?
Yeah, tomato plants, jalapenos, squash, um, all the typical herbs that are for the kitchen. Yeah,
Uh-huh. So you enjoy cooking.
I do. Yeah.
Do you have a
Um,
particular genre of cooking you like to do, ethnicity or style or?
not really, just this and that. A lot of baking. My youngest daughter really likes to bake, so I'm trying to encourage her. So we do a lot of kind of bread and cakes and
Ooh,
things like that, as well as soups and stuff.
I need to hang out with you more. See if I can. Yeah, are you offering curbside service, curbside pickup?
Sure, why not?
Sounds like a lot of fun, actually. So, I'm sure asking this question, I think you sort of have already answered it in some ways. But if you weren't doing accounting right now, would you be a musician? I mean,
I would hope
on a
so.
full time basis or a more regular basis?
Probably. I mean, I would like to think so. Of
Hmm.
course, I don't know if I would be good enough, but I would hope so, or at least be in the teaching, teaching music
Sure.
more. Um,
Have you ever thought about what you would be doing if you weren't doing what you're doing?
um, yes, probably some teaching. Hopefully,
Okay.
music teaching,
Uh
but
huh.
if not teaching, a lot of my family members are teachers,
Uh
so
huh.
they would probably have encouraged me to do that. I'm kind of the only one that's kind of music and accounting in my family right now.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Did any of your other family do any more with music?
no, they didn't.
Okay.
No, I'm really the only one.
Wow. Let's see. So you're the shining star. You flew the coop. You kept up with your music. That's cool. Well, I think that's neat. I mean, because family dynamics are so different. You just never know.
They are.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Dana, listen, this has been a lot of fun. I think, but before we wrap up, though, you talked a little bit about what you do in terms of day to day, uh, crunchy numbers and that kind of thing. But for our audience who doesn't really know what a finance director does, why don't you tell a little bit about, you help set budgets and you just sort of some of the things that you work on.
Sure. So I do a lot of the day-to-day, just accounting, of course, all the deposits and income that come in for ticket sales, as well as contributions, just logging them into our accounting system, paying bills, and of course, putting together monthly financial reports to show the board so they
Hmm.
can oversee the financials prepared to budget. I
Hmm.
do the payroll for the office as
Right?
well as for the musicians.
That's got to be
Um,
busy. Yeah.
and then kind of human resources, just kind of general office management. Do a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it gives you a little bit of variety though, which is sort of nice too. Never the same thing twice. I imagine no day is,
yeah.
is like the other.
Right. It is. It's very different almost every day.
Yeah, well that
Here for
helps.
anything.
Yeah, that helps.
Yes.
I would say, and for the benefit of our audience who's watching our video today, you're actually in the offices at the Tulsa Symphony, and it's been great because we've had a cavalcade of stars passing behind you while we've been doing this. The last one that I just recognized was our executive director Keith Elder, who
Oh,
obviously has a question he wants to ask you. So
okay.
so we'll wrap up our time so that you could go meet with Keith. And but I really do want to thank you for sharing your time with us and letting our TSO family learn more about you and the role that you play, literally, in the Tulsa Symphony. And I will look forward to seeing you in person very, very soon.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Ken. It was
Take
my
care
pleasure.
now. It's been great.
You too.